Well, we survived another record-breaking day. It has never been this hot in Sacramento, ever, 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 ever. Yesterday, I think even at the airport, it was 117. It was 119 here in our backyard. And our good friend Andrew, just a couple miles east of here, his thermometer hit 122 yesterday. Now, I know it's probably warm and weird where you are, so I sympathize. But Constance and I are sort of in survival mode, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay, so keep your fingers crossed for us. Yesterday, from the parking lot of Sprouts, I opened up a can of worms concerning the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. And it started by my running across an old article in our Oye, or Oyes as we called it, Lodge newsletter or journal. And it was sort of a rare little one-page work by Crowley, writing as Cyril Gray, about the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. And we've got a lot of comments on it, especially concerning the idea of the only one and one God and only God confusion in the opening segment of the Emerald Tablet. Now, this is how Crowley handled that opening. Utter the word of majesty and terror, true without lie and certain without error, and of the essence of the truth. I know the things above are as the things below are as the things above. To wield the one thing's thaumaturgy, love. As all from one spring, by one contemplation, so all from one were born by permutation. Then it goes on, the sun sired the moon. Okay. Now that's pretty damn obscure, or confusing, or insanely, profoundly simple. And so it occurred to me that in an extended essay that I called The Emerald Tablet of Hermes and the Invocation of the Holy Guardian Angel, something that I first wrote for Chick and Tabitha Cicero's Golden Dawn Journal, and then a few months later also published it in my Angels, Demons, and Gods of the New Millennium. I just want to cover those few things about this idea of one only thing is the creator, only one is the sustainer, only God is director, and you lump all those three things together and it becomes the Father of all things in the universe. And I briefly touched on how this was sort of a hermetic retelling of the opening lines of the Tao Te Ching about the named and the nameless and the named. One is the mother of all things, and but DuQuette gets into that here in just a second. So I'm just going to share just for about 10 minutes here. It's going to be probably short today. Manly Palmer Hall, and this is also from yesterday, from the Lost Keys of Freemasonry, has a wonderful, one among many wonderful translations of the Emerald Tablet, but it's the one I'm using. It is true and no lie, certain to be depended upon, that the superior agrees with the inferior and the inferior with the superior to effect that one truly wonderful work. It is written in Genesis 1:27, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God created him. Male and female created he them. The Sefer Denudata tells us that, quote, before there was equilibrium, countenance beheld not countenance. The vast countenance is hidden and concealed. The lesser countenance is manifested and is not manifested. When he is manifested, he is symbolized by the letters Yod, He, Vav, He. The vast countenance is the macrocosm, the big world, the abode of deity, and to some extent deity itself. The lesser countenance is the microcosm, the little world, the emanations and expressions of deity. Upon the lowest end of the microcosmic scale is found the material universe and human beings. After balance was achieved early in the creation scenario, these two countenances, the superior and the inferior, beheld or reflected each other. The two Kabbalistic texts quoted above confirm the Emerald Tablet's opening statement and reveal a universe of repeating patterns. Like the keyboard of a piano, the notes that make up the world above us have their counterpart in our lower octave. The superior agrees with the inferior, and the inferior with the superior, as above, so below. There are numerous ways that Kabbalistic texts attempt to illustrate the relationship of the macrocosm and the microcosm, some defining the macrocosm as all 9 emanations, or Sephiroth, below Kether, the first Sephirah, or the crown of the tree of life. Some viewing the 10th Sephirah, Malkuth, or the kingdom, as the microcosm, and the next 6 Sephiroth above Malkuth as the macrocosmic world. Now, it's a curious characteristic of Kabbalistic thought that both of the above definitions and a wide assortment of others can be considered simultaneously true. Keeping the first statement of the Emerald Tablet in mind, we could even venture to say that every plane of existence is a macrocosm in relation to the plane beneath it, and a microcosm in relationship to the plane above it. For the purpose of this little essay, I will use the terms as they are most commonly applied to in modern ceremonial magic, and that is the microcosm, characterized by the magical formula of the 4 elements, fire, water, air, and earth, ruled, vivified, and bound together and separated by the quintessential element, spirit. So 5 is a big 5. Okay. The number 5 is a particularly suitable glyph for the microcosm, for it expresses the magical formula which sustains the elemental world. In the Holy Hebrew alphabet, the number 5 is expressed by the letter He, H-E. And if you want to know what a He looks like, it looks like that. A big, wide opening. The macrocosm is characterized by the planetary formula and the number 6. It is graphically illustrated as the sun surrounded by the 6 planets recognized by the ancients. So it's a 6, but it's also sort of a 7. Okay. But I digress. These heavenly wanders which traveled across the belt of the zodiac represent a higher order than the elemental world and were seen by the ancients as living components of the body of God. The Hebrew letter enumerating to 6 is Vav. And Vav looks like that. It's sort of at this angle, it's sort of a dangling, pointy thing. And remember, hey, not to be vulgar here, but it's a big, big opening. Do I have to draw you a picture? Humans are the highest expression of the microcosm, and God is the highest expression of the macrocosm. To bring the microcosmic 5 into perfect alignment with the macrocosmic 6 is the great work accomplished, and the spiritual goal of all seekers of enlightenment. But how do we go about uniting the 5 and the 6? And remember that 5 and 6 united is expressed by the magical formula abrahadabra. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start by examining the second statement from the Emerald Tablet. And this is where all the questions came from yesterday. As all things owe their existence to the will of the only one, so all things owe their origin to the one only thing, the most hidden, by the arrangement of the only God. The above statement may at first appear to be a somewhat redundant description of the powers of deity. But really, we're reading about 3 facets of deity, 1 in essence, but 3 in aspect. The only one to whose will all things owe their existence, the one only thing most hidden, to whom all things owe their origin. Because there's a difference between existence and the origin, okay? And only God, who appears to have arranged the whole show, okay? Once again, you might want to look at that. Okay, we've got the only one, okay, to whose will all things owe their existence, the one only thing, okay, the most hidden, to whom all things owe their origins. See, so that's why only one pops out of the one only thing, okay? And only God, who appears to have arranged the whole thing. So we've got something that looks like that. And all together, they are the Father. Okay. I'll let DuQuette say it. The one only thing, the most hidden, is the Creator, a hidden and unknowable thing. Its supreme mystery is the secret of how it came forth from negative existence. It contains all things, great and small. To see it, to know it, to even think about it is as impossible as trying to see the back of your own head by turning around. In the Kabbalah, the first Sephirah, Kether, is called Timira de Althukin, the concealed of the concealed. Okay, only one is the sustainer, the Tuon of the Greeks, the Tao of Lao Tzu. If the one only thing is the power generator, only one is the electricity itself. Then only God is the organizer and director of all that. The one only thing creates, and the only one sustains it. It is the grand architect of the universe, and the only aspect of the universal agent designated God by the Emerald Tablet. Excuse me. Because the superior agrees with the inferior, and the inferior with the superior, this thrice great agency is at work in each of us, as surely as it is in the dynamics of subatomic particles and the outermost galaxies. Apprehension of this great scheme and the perfect realization of our place in it is the very definition of enlightenment. The sages of India, Tibet, and elsewhere have minutely categorized the progressive stages of consciousness leading to this supreme attainment. The Kabbalah also dissects the mechanism of creation and expresses the process in the ineffable name of God, Yod-He-Vav-He. The Great Father is positioned on the tree of life with its tip in Kether, number 1, and its tail in Hokmah, number 2, representing the first reflection or extension of the One. This act of reflection starts a chain reaction of cosmic events by which the Godhead creates the universe from out of itself. He, the Great Mother, resides in the third Sephirah, Binah. She receives the infinite extending Yod, increasing her capacity to enfold in exact proportion to his capacity to unfold. Father Yod and Mother He are co-equal infinities and define the supernal triad of Hokmah, of Kether, Hokmah, Binah, which through abstract and unmanifest, which, though abstract and unmanifest, establishes the primordial patterns which will shape the characteristics of the lower Sephiroth which follow. The union of Yod and He results in the formation of two archetypal offspring, a son who is represented by the letter Vav in the divine name, and a daughter who manifests as the final letter He. When projected upon the tree of life, the son, Vav, is focused upon the sixth Sephirah. I'm going to show you this and go on with it. See, there's our Yod right up here with its head in 1 and its tail in 2. Tail in 2. There's He, the big mother. Vav is this area right there. Okay, the macrocosmic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the He final is down here in Malkuth. Okay. When projected upon the tree of life, the sun, Vav, is focused upon the sixth Sephirah, Tifereth, but it encompasses Sephirah 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, the area of the tree of life most generally designated the Macrocosm. The daughter, Hey Final, is positioned at the 10th and lowest Sephira, Malkuth, the kingdom. The abode of the material universe, the microcosm, and the isle of spiritual exile of the human soul. Even though Malkuth, and consequently humanity, finds itself at the bottom of the Kabbalistic barrel, it is still a unique and wonderful position. For here, at the most remote outpost of the divine empire, lies a buried treasure. Because the inferior agrees with the superior, the genetic code of Kether and the entire evolving universe sleeps like a dormant seed inside each of us. It takes a gardener to awaken and germinate this seed, and that gardener is Vav, of the ineffable name. And to us, it's our holy guardian angel. And that's where we'll stop today. Like everything in magic and hermetics and Kabbalah, one thing just seems to open doors that you want to go into further and further and further. But I hope that sort of puts the confusion that I triggered with yesterday's talk in a little bit clearer light. So that's it for today. Please try to stay cool. I know Constance and I will do our best, because I think there's still stuff that we got to do in the universe that, just like you wouldn't even be here if there was stuff in the universe that needed to be done that it appears that only you can do. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under well.